Blessed be the fruit.
May the Lord open. This is Akram.
Hello, everyone. We're at the lunch table. Today, we're reviewing another episode of The Handmaid's Tale, Episode 3. And we have a lot of thoughts to say about it, and we can't wait to talk to you about it. But please make sure you like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. But Dylan, without further ado, let's talk about Episode 3.
Yeah, I mean, this episode wasn't too much as far as like shock value, but we did have some relevant moments regarding, Serena and June. So June, obviously the last episode, we had this moment where she finds out that Hannah, of course, is, still in Gilead. And we had this great shot where Serena and June kind of like, even though they're not directly looking at each other off screen, they're kind of like indirectly looking at each other, right? So I thought that was a great scene. But yeah, tell me what you thought about episode 3.
Yeah, not like a lot of stuff happened. It wasn't so eventful. But we did see like I had some like vibes from like Tuello. Like I don't know, it was like some weird vibes. Like there was something going on between him and Serena. Um, but he was professional as always, I guess. And Serena just seems like this person who's really lonely, but she's strong. But like she tries to not let out this loneliness, but some of her actions lets it out. And we get a little bit more insights on Hannah, the new color, right? The color purple. And so apparently she's going to be trained to be a wife, which I think is going to add a lot of more stakes to June's already busy plate. Yeah, and so we also see some of the factions, right? The what is it called? The Mayday people.
Mayday.
Yeah, Mayday people, which is really cool. So give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of pressure now because June is kind of on a timetable now, right? She has to get Hannah now out because Hannah's being prepared to be a wife in Gilead. But June does make contact with Mayday finally after 4 seasons. We finally get to see this group of women. And I thought that upside down American flag was just so iconic, right? It's literally like America turned upside down, right? They reminded me so much of like the mothers from like what is it, Mad Max. There's like these very like badass women. They're like all have like shotguns.
Right.
But they're an activist group, and they're like at the same time they're a revolutionary group, and I think June really is going to be at the forefront of this group. Um, and on the flip side of this, we also have Serena. She's in Gilead, um, and she's making some interesting moves. I mean, there was a weird moment where she kind of like indirectly, like she's in mourning, but she indirectly proposed to Commander Lawrence. I mean, there was like because they were talking about like how they, Gilead. It's hard for commanders' wives to be single. So do you think like she was kind of like indirectly proposing to him?
I think she's trying to grasp at all edges. Yeah, I think that she's trying to get in somehow, and maybe she's starting to realize that she made a big mistake. Like she made it a lot harder for herself through the events of the show. And I think now, yeah, I mean, Commander Lawrence is a little bit more understanding, and he's really smart, and I think Serena sees that. But it's interesting because he like completely shut her down, and I think that it puts her in a very vulnerable spot as well. I think the only thing that's saving her really is the child. And I wonder what would happen later on if they took that child away. I think I mentioned that in the first review. I think it's really dangerous. Yeah, I think she's in a really dangerous spot. Oh, and I also wanted to mention what's her name? Madeline Brewer's character of Warren or something like that. She's alive, right? So Esther also is alive. I was right. They were like kind of like in a coma. I wonder if Esther's
They
going to wake
swallowed the
up.
Popeyes biscuit.
They swallowed the Popeye's biscuit. No Coca-Cola or sweet tea. Pretty honorable sacrifice. Um, but yeah,
They just can't talk the next episode. They're
well,
like
I wanted
mutes.
I wanted to get your thoughts on of Aunt Lydia's performance because I think that was really wonderful, and you could tell she really cares about you know.
Yeah, that was a very genuine performance. We rarely see like Aunt Lydia like break down in that
Mm.
fashion, right? Like, she's very like adherent to, being professional, very strict to this, uh Galadian, code where she has to be, you know, this motherly figure at all times. But, Janine is kind of like I feel like her prodigal daughter in a way, and I felt that slap when she slapped. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
that like hurt me. I was like, holy shit.
yeah.
But yeah, Aunt Lydia, she has this breakdown, and she you know, she makes this pact with God that, she'll reform her ways. Is it genuine, or, was she just saying this, because, she favors Janine? Who knows? Maybe she'll this is like kind of like her redemption, the beginning of her redemption arc. Um, I think it's a little disingenuous because she's so adherent to this doctrine, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think it's very complicated, because she's like sometimes she's all the way in, but she feels like she's doing something for the women, like she's actually trying to help them. So that's why like she's really complex, and I think it warrants her own spin-off that they're going to do about like a younger Aunt Lydia. Um, yeah, I really think she's gonna defect at one point. I think that she's gonna say enough is enough, right? The men aren't like appearing to or upholding my values. And yeah, I think she's gonna defect. I think that's what the next season will be. It's gonna kind of be like an all-out war scenario, maybe a little bit of espionage, right? Somebody, at least some people from Canada, will probably invade, and that's how June will rescue Hannah, and probably Aunt Lydia will help her, and maybe Esther has a
Mhm.
key role. Maybe she's gonna become a martyr. It's kind of sad, but yeah, it looks like that's how it's going to be. Because Mayday, we're getting. I think this isn't the last time we're gonna see Mayday as well. So I think things are gonna get a little
Yeah,
bit
they're
rocky.
they're kind of sowing the seeds for this kind of like Cold War that's coming up, and I think June and Serena are really going to be spear pointing these different factions. And Serena, by the end of this episode, kind of is faced with this choice. And I was talking a little bit last review about how she's kind of been snubbed by this government that she helped create, and we see this again. So now she faced the Gilead Council, and she's given this opportunity where she can kind of be like this ambassador for Gilead in Canada. Um, but she doesn't want that. She wants to be, close to home where her husband, was one of the co-founders. So yeah, I mean it's a pickle. I mean that she is like a paradoxical character where like she represents strong women, but at the same time she represents a society that like disenfranchises women also. But yeah, what were your thoughts on that moment?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna make her into a handmaid at first, like after she gives birth. I thought
That'd
I
be
was
so
like,
fucked.
yeah, I was
After
like,
all that.
oh my goodness,
They're like,
and
"Oh, you can have babies now? Okay, here's the dress."
yeah, well, I thought that was well, unless maybe to them, I'm surprised they didn't really punish her. I wonder what's the political scheme going on here? Like, why they didn't really punish her for some reason? Because they're usually kind of cruel. Um, yeah, I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
she
She'll be.
has good ideas.
She has
I
good
don't think
ideas.
they would
Yeah,
wanna waste that potential, right?
yeah,
Because she was the one that recommended the funeral, and that got publicity for Gilead.
right,
So I don't think they wanna waste her, but at the same time, she is a woman, and even Lauren said, like, "You're an unusual woman, and we don't have, a place in the society for that."
right. I think they're trying to open up their eyes a little bit more. Like they have the muscle, but they need to have like the image that looks welcoming. And a lot of people are crying when they see her. More specifically, I think me and you had a it was a jump scare at the end. It was
Oh,
really
yeah.
significant. So tell us a little bit about what happened.
Yeah, well, June came out of nowhere like fucking Drac or like the Mothman Chronicles. Just just that shit scared me.
I
I was like,
know.
"Oh shit." Thought it was in North Philly or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so June actually she got there fast too, cuz like she got word of that Serena was going to be in Canada like real quick, and then she was down there like that, and then
Right.
all of a sudden like she makes this bold threat to Serena. It's funny how like they're kind of like threatening each other, like, they're going, like, back and forth, like, last episode, like, Serena threatened June, and now June is threatening Serena, so it's, like, kinda, like, banter back and forth, but, I mean, they both have, children now. Serena's pregnant, so, like we said, like, she's dangerous, but at the same time, she's vulnerable as well. So, possibly we'll see, like, how because now that, she's in Canada, she's not surrounded by well, they said they were gonna provide her, protection, but it's not the same protection as Gilead, right? This is a whole different country now, a whole different nation, whole set of rules. So, she's vulnerable, and given that we see Mayday, you know, it's likely that she's under more threat. And it was weird because she was kinda, like, seducing Tuello too. There was, like, this weird scene, so I don't know if, like, maybe she's trying to seduce him to get, like, more power from the Canadian government, but what are your predictions for next episode?
Yeah, I think I don't think to well actually I think next episode we'll let that breathe a little bit more with like Tuello and Serena. I think there's like this odd like opposites attract. I'm not too sure. Maybe he'll fall for it. Maybe Serena's like a mad genius and like she's actually like a snake and she was really like trying to do something, or unless she feels genuine about him. I don't know, because he kind of is like this knight in shining armor in a bad situation for her, and he's the only one really protecting her because everyone else hates her and disrespects her. And again, he's always like, I'm just doing my job, right? So it kind of reminds me of a knight. Yeah, I think June will try to like come up with a scheme to visit Serena or like harass Serena a little bit later. And maybe this is a golden opportunity for June to realize, okay, well, I can't be super vengeful. I have to think smart, right? I have to be sneaky with it. And maybe she's gonna try to use Serena. And there's gonna be really cool moments where like they interact and they kind of seem like they're a little bit friends or something down the line. But what are your predictions?
Well, yeah, I agree. I think June is definitely like being more calculative now. I mean, she has to be smarter, and Moira, I think, is going to be there with her. So yeah, I think it'll be a foil, like maybe Serena now that she's in Canada, maybe June goes to Gilead, right? So it's kind of like they're playing on two different fronts. So because Hannah's in Gilead, obviously, so she has to get her out. Also, we forgot to mention Nick in this episode. He made contact with June. So he said he has to lay low for a while, but who knows? Maybe this is the beginning of him, starting to become like a mole for Gilead. I mean, he has a wife now, so he has to lay low for a while and make sure that he's protected, obviously for his daughter. Um, and who knows for Aunt Lydia? Maybe she's becoming a more empathetic person now for the handmaids, and maybe this is like the beginning of her redemption arc. But not like a totally eventful episode, but I would still rank it pretty high. So I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. How would you rank it?
Yeah, same, same. Going like close to 9. I would give it like 8 out of 10 though. Yeah. Um, well, everybody, that's our thoughts on episode 3 of Handmaid's Tale. If you guys made it to the end, we greatly appreciate you. Please do not forget to like and share if you're so inclined to. And also check out our other reviews. We're currently reviewing Andor. That's really cool. We have a lot of content coming for you guys pretty soon. We're really busy. And next month as well. So, Dylan, please take it away.
Well, thank you guys again. Blessed day. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. And make sure you're following the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to: Anchor, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Like Akram said, we have a lot of great episodes out. We just covered, of course, Handmaid's Tale episodes 1 and 2. We just did an Andor review for episodes 1, 2, 3, and we're doing week by week episode reviews for that as well. So thank you again, and until then, blessed be the fruit.
May the Lord open.